When it comes to Green Rangers, they seem to be a bad season saving grace. They usually get the most fun or crazy type of personalities. Green also tends to get the rookie people. They have to learn to work with the team and sometimes be the smart guys. I wish PR didn't have to choose between black and green. Most of the time, I like it when both colors are used. Before I begin, I won't be counting 6 Rangers that are green or any other color. They belong in the 6 Ranger category only. Jake! We keep hitting this dead horse a lot, don't we? Jake was the first and only character I liked in Megaforce. He was the one that was close to being normal. He liked soccer, but they didn't make him obsessed with it versus the other personalities. Noah was the Billy of the team. He practically never got anything to do outside of the computer lab. Emma just kept taking photos, Gia kept being too cool for everyone, and Troy stayed on rooftops. Jake was actually fun. He can go into serious mode, but then try to impress Gia, falling on his face half the time into his carefree mode. Jake is also the audience voice. Sometimes he will ask those questions like how he was confused with switching to green, and is the only one who had an arcing story that at least ended. Mike. He's probably the most lucky character in recent seasons thanks to the network skipping the pilot episodes. Still to this day, I don't know what Nick was thinking with that idea. The show started off on episode 3, which was his focus episode. He was struggling to work on the team. He's trained his whole life to be a samurai, but you got that he was sick of doing it. Yeah, he knew it was important, but he didn't live your normal life. He couldn't have fun at a young age, so he was going to resent the job, all the way up to G. That's why he acted the way he acted. Mike was interesting that way. Rangers, when they get their powers, usually after one episode, they're totally cool in doing it. Mike, on the other hand, did it, but also wanted to leave. It's why I liked Mike. He's the one that had conflict with what he was doing compared to, say, Jaden. Yes, he had some issues and learned stuff, but it was, I'm perfect, I just need to master this special attack to kill a stronger opponent. Bridge. The man that makes you think of Toast. Bridge was just fun. He couldn't stand in one place for long. I liked his special power of reading people's aura, kind of like a cheat code. They could have used it more. SPD had some interesting episodes with him. In one place, he was able to predict the future. Other times, he's got trapped in a death chamber. Somehow, his brain can go through all these twists and turns and still get to the real answer. Maybe it's the power of that Toast after all. He's the only character confirmed Jewish. I really would have loved to have seen Bridge as Red Ranger. He's learned from Jack, probably gets some pointers from Sky, and would make everyone, eat toast while handstanding, somehow beating the monster of the week. Xander. Xander was kind of like the father of the group. He did try to get out of fights by talking. I always liked that trait of his. At least someone tried it once. He did take advantage of his boss position at work and made the others do things. He may be the leader at the Rock Emporium, but not as the Ranger. Xander was probably the most laziest person PR has had, but he did learn his lesson eventually. The writers also gave him a bit of backstory, telling him how he was picked on because of his accent coming from Australia to the United States. The show hasn't done anything like that for a long time. Back with them in PR, they featured a lot of different types of people and brought up some issues. Nowadays, everyone is the same, acts the same. I think he would have been a perfect character to return to the show as a mentor. Damon. Damon is really underappreciated. He's the miracle worker of the PR universe. Yeah, while Alpha handled 4 years of Zords, he had help with Billy. Damon had to keep Terra Venture and the old Astro Megaship running, all while being a Ranger and dealing with all those crazy monsters. His character is simple, but he did get some unique focus episodes. He had to deal with a guy who stole some of his old work. For being the first season without Zordon, Damon stuck to the rule of personal gain because Damon could have easily used his Ranger suit to make him stop or directly expose the guy, but he didn't. The other episode was when Leo and him were hog-tied up. It was a clip show, but it was a good piece of teamwork and screen time between the two. His best moments were when he did everything he could to try to keep the station running while Trakina was destroying each main engine and prepared the station for crash impact on Miranoi's moon. Carlos. This is an odd choice, but like Jake, Carlos turned out to be a good character over the 2 seasons he was on. He started out as that overconfident guy who thought he was the only way to win for his team. Adam mentored him into realizing that you use your team to help you win. Carlos does have the quality to be a Red Ranger. I always liked him when he replaced Adam. It didn't feel wrong. While I had problems with Ashley replacing Tanya, Carlos and Adam have a really good relationship, which made the In-Space Team-Up episode that much better. I also like that Carlos was another one of the few people that wanted to walk away. Some people just get burned out, even though for Carlos the stakes are really high. It's not a normal paycheck, it's lives. But there are times where you just have to stop. He pushed through when Adam reminded him. Tripp. My favorite part about Tripp was that he was an alien. He was very innocent, took people at face value, so he had to learn not to get taken advantage of. A couple of times were really bad, like when Nadira captured Circuit and took him apart. Bridge and him share very similar powers. Both can read people, and he comes up with pretty cool inventions, like the electro booster for Wes. PR every now and then does an episode where the monster is actually good. They're fairly the same, but Tripp's episode is the best one because he deals with some racial issues. Eric wanted to kill the monster solely because how he looked, so Tripp stood up in front of Eric to take the shot with him. I always wanted to see what Tripp and Cam could do if they came back and worked together. Joel! The hotshot flyer, the man that shows off and promotes his second job when he can. You'd think you hate him, but no. He gives the Lightspeed team the zest that they're missing. Carter is the leader, so he doesn't get that much time to relax. Dana is always being serious and dealing with Ryan. Chad and Kelsey are always training and getting better, so we don't always get a break from seriousness. But Joel saves the day, coming in late, giving one-liners, and always asking for their own date. Now, normally I would hate a character like this. Bulk and Skull were annoying in early season 1 because they were just one notes. But Joel isn't like that. He does become serious when the situation happens. He isn't cracking jokes when that asteroid was heading to Earth. He was trying to convince everyone to believe the kid. I take his personality and jokes over Mia's bad cooking joke that went on for 2 years with no payoff. Adam is my favorite Ranger if you're basing it off how long a character is used on the show. At first, I didn't care for him because I still had that bad taste in my mouth when he replaced Zach. Eventually, he became an important character. Sadly, he was used the most out of the new trio. He always felt as the second in command, even though Rocky was supposed to be that. He keeps his cool, he gives good advice, I like the style of martial arts, and he works great in any color. He got more fun stuff to do as Zeo Green. He's always very versatile, gets many different types of focus episodes. He helps out in some school plays. He can also play some musical instruments. He's another character I love to come back and mentor a new team. He's done a good job with Carlos. Ziggy. Yeah, my favorite Green Ranger out of everyone is Ziggy. He's the most unqualified person to be picked as a Ranger by far. He whines, can't fight, gets the team in a disadvantage, and couldn't get the hang of teleporting for a long time. But he stood up to a mob boss. He's been Dylan's friend from the start and has gotten Dr. K to smile. He's just very likable. No matter how annoying he can get, it just works. While Bulk got his clothes ripped off him 50 times, Ziggy teleporting his suit off himself was better. He also had a great episode with Dr. K, and it was the show's clip episode. Dr. K and Ziggy are just fun to watch. She just constantly gets annoyed after every screw up, but still keeps it ongoing. Ziggy and Xander would be a great team. Ziggy asking annoying questions while Xander tries to talk himself out of a fight. Monsters would just blow up standing there. No one's really had an easy out in RPM. I mean, the world has ended, but Ziggy was the least affected by it. So it kind of gave him some breathing room to act stupid, but you can see he still wants friendship. No one wants to be alone when Vengeance running around. Green Rangers always seem to get the lighter roles. They can be serious, but at the same time can go full goofball and save the day at the last minute. I just like characters that are funny, but can be serious at the right times. It's a hard balance to do. If one side swings too hard, I can easily get annoyed at them, like Bulk and Skull getting hit in the face with food, or Mia's bad cooking joke. What do you guys think of my choices, and what are your favorite Green Rangers? I like to know. Also, if you have an idea for a top 10 you'd like me to do, leave a comment down below. Next week, moving on to the color yellow.